it's Shawna. Welcome to the Hungry Soul. We're starting our holiday baking today, so I'm really excited. Sometimes I bake for 3 days straight. I kind of get obsessed. The first thing I'm going to make is going to be peanut butter bonbons. They're a lot like Reese's peanut butter cups. They're really simple. There's only 3 ingredients. We're talking peanut butter, butter, and powdered sugar. And if you're careful to check your labels, make sure everything's gluten-free. This is a great treat to make for your gluten-free people. I have a friend who lives in California, and so after we make these peanut butter balls, when we go to dip them in the chocolate, I'm also going to do some gluten-free pretzels for her today so I can get those shipped out to her in time for Christmas. So let's get started. Right now in a bowl I have a triple batch, so you can make this as big or small as you want. Basically the ratio is a stick of butter to a cup of peanut butter. So I have 3 sticks of butter and 3 cups of peanut butter. I'm going to go ahead and put it in the mixer. We're going to start creaming it together. I'm going to use a whisk. You could use a paddle if you wanted to. I just think it mixes it well, makes it nice and fluffy. So we're just going to start that on low and get it going. Once we get it all creamed together, we're going to start adding this powdered sugar. Now, I have 6 cups of powdered sugar here, so obviously there's 2 cups to a batch. So again, that ratio is 1 cup of peanut butter to 1 stick of butter to 2 cups of powdered sugar. Now when you're done mixing it up, you might decide it's a little oily. You might want to add a little more powdered sugar just to thicken it up a bit. Alright, this is looking pretty good now. Just going to clean off the sides. Make sure I get all that good butter in there. Going to up the speed a little bit. And now I'm just going to start adding my powdered sugar a scoop at a time. You don't want your mixer going too fast or you're going to end up with powdered sugar flying everywhere. And obviously this is going to take a while, so I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to keep adding my powdered sugar, and when we're done we'll come back and we'll melt our chocolate. And I just kind of want to show you. See how firm this is? It's not really creamy at all. It almost has a sort of matte appearance to it, and that's how I know it's going to be firm enough to roll up into little balls. So I'm going to use my little scoop, and I'm going to do a level one, scoop it right into my hand, give it a nice little roll into a ball, and then I'm just going to go ahead and fill my tray with them. I have 3 lined trays here. If you use parchment paper, you will have a much nicer experience. You don't have to, wax paper works too, but I'm just going to line up on these trays, and then I'm going to put them in the fridge to chill, and then we're going to get the chocolate melting. Okay, we've got our water boiling for our double boiler. We're going to melt our chocolate now. Our peanut butter balls are chilling in the fridge, so I'm just going to go ahead, and this bowl fits perfectly in here. You just want to set a glass bowl on top of boiling water. You don't actually want the water touching the bowl. The steam is going to heat up the bowl and gently melt the chocolate. So we're just going to let this get going. We're going to melt it about halfway, and then usually the bowl is hot enough that it will melt the rest of it, so you don't usually have to heat it the entire time. So we'll go ahead and get this melting, and when it's all done, we'll go ahead and dip our peanut butter balls. Okay, our chocolate's melting nicely. It's about half melted, and as you can see I still have these big chunks. I'm just pushing those down to the bottom so they get the majority of the heat. Just keep stirring it together. You can see it's coming together nicely. Okay, we're ready to dip our peanut butter balls. I have the melted bowl of chocolate. You can see it's just really nice and runny. It's been sitting here for a minute, so it's cool enough to touch now. There was a few chunks in the bottom that weren't melted yet. Not worried about that. As long as they sit here in this warm bowl, they're going to continue to melt. If your chocolate starts to seize up on you, go ahead and stick it back on the double boiler, warm it up a little bit more to loosen it up. That'll give you time to work at your own pace as well. I use skewers from the barbecue. I think they work perfectly. So I use the round end on them, drop it in, take your chocolate out, and you can just scoop it right out of there. Like so. So drop in another one, get it covered, get that extra chocolate off there, and so on. So I'm going to keep going. I'm going to go ahead and cover all the peanut butter balls. Like I said, I have several trays in the fridge, so when I'm done, we'll come back, we'll take a look, and we'll try one. Okay, I've got a new, fresh, ice cold pan. These are nice and firm. I put the other one in the fridge in place of this so the chocolate can set, and I'm just going to keep swapping them out that way. You know, I just love doing little projects like this. I know some people would find this very tedious, but to me it's very meditative. I have some mellow music going in the background with a little bit of Christmas to it. If you're not Christian, that's fine. Listen to whatever kind of music relaxes you. But doing little simple tasks like this can really help you clear your mind. I always find that cooking relaxes me. I know that some people think, oh, I just don't have time for that. It's too stressful. I work too hard all day. But sometimes, even if I work like a 16-hour day, when I come home, I just can't wait to cook my meal because it's a chance to be creative. It's an outlet. To me, it's very satisfying. So I hope that when you're doing stuff like this, you will think of it that way. It's sort of like waiting in line when you go shopping and the lines are backed out past the cashiers and you just think, oh, this is awful. Use it as a time to reflect. Some people use it as a time to pray. Make a list. Text somebody, you know, just make the most of it. Be positive. Enjoy your life and be happy. It took me a long time to figure that out. Had kind of a rough start in my life, and now things like this bring me so much joy, and I just wanted to share that with you. And I hope that while you're making your Christmas stuff, that you're enjoying yourself and that you're making things for people that you love. Forgive me, I get a little emotional. To me, that's what Christmas is all about. It's not about the presents or about Santa. All those things are fun, but it's really just a time when we come together, really celebrate and share our lives with our families and our friends or whoever your chosen family is, and that's what I wish for you this holiday season. As I said earlier, I make mass quantities of cookies and breads and candies at Christmas. I sometimes bake like 16 hours a day for 3 days straight. By the time it's done, I'm sort of crazy and exhausted, but I love it because I do it all for my loved ones and to bring to the parties that we go to, and it's just a great way to gift people. Nothing says love like I stood in the kitchen for 3 days and baked for you. A lot of people don't cook, and so they think this is just incredible. It's easy to me, but it's a big deal to them. Alright, I'm just about done with this pan here, and when we're all done, we're going to move on to our pretzels. Now when you do this, you can use any kind of chocolate to cover them that you like. I use almond bark because it's really affordable, and I make a ton of these, and as I said, I make a lot of different cookies, and so cost definitely is a factor for me. I start buying my baked goods in October to get ready for the Christmas season. I literally have like a whole closet full when I start. In past years, I have put all my ingredients on this counter here and taken a picture before I started, and I literally heaped the whole counter. Very blessed, but also a good planner. Like I said, I plan ahead, and when all the sales start to happen in the fall for like Thanksgiving and the holidays, they start running specials on flours and sugars and butters, and so I just start stocking up in advance so it doesn't happen all at once, because otherwise I'd probably have to go out and spend about $500 or $600 on groceries. So this is what works best for me. Now when we're all done dipping these, we're going to do a white almond bark, and we're going to color it, and we're going to do some red and green designs on here just to make it Christmassy. If you are celebrating Hanukkah, you could do it in blue. If you are doing it for Valentine's Day, you could do it in pink and red. I mean, these are really for any occasion. I just do them at the holidays. Something like this I try and only do once a year because people really look forward to it, and if I did it all the time it wouldn't be as special. Okay, so we've got all the peanut butter balls done, and now we're going to do some pretzels. And the reason I'm doing this all combined in one video is because it's all gluten-free, and as long as we have the almond bark melted, then we want to go ahead and do as much as we can. So gluten-free pretzels, as I said, just toss them in, give them a little stir, flip them over. And just like before, we're using the skewers for barbecuing. And so this time we're using the other end, the pointy end, instead of the round end. And so after we scoop them out, just go ahead and lie them right on the paper there. And so if you want, you can do a few at a time. Put them in here and just kind of flip them around. You can use 2 skewers if it makes it easier. And they don't have to be perfect. They're a handmade treat. But like so, that's all we're gonna do. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna work through all these pretzels, and when we're done, we're gonna go ahead and decorate all these. You know, if your chocolate starts to thicken on you while you're working, go ahead and stop and let it melt a little bit more. Otherwise it'll start to fill in the holes on the pretzel and they just won't be as pretty. You know, and if you didn't want to dip them too, you could easily lie them on a tray and then just drizzle almond bark over them so that not all of the pretzel's covered. You can also sprinkle sugar on these, or little sprinkles, or anything for whatever occasion you're making them for, whether it's Christmas or Valentine's Day. Okay, we used our white almond bark, we dyed it green, and we covered all these, and when we did the red it kind of seized up on me. It didn't want to work right, so I'm going to skip that and I'm going to go ahead with just some white over the top of it. We're just going to shift gears and do something different. So just like the green, just kind of swirl it over the top. See how much easier that flows than the green did? Anytime you add anything to almond bark, you take the chance of it doing weird things. That's why I was trying to use gel color. My red was a little bit old, so then I switched to regular food coloring, and it was just too liquidy. The almond bark couldn't take it. So still want them to look Christmassy, so I'm going to go ahead and put this white on here just so it has something to stick to, and then I'm going to take some red, white, and green decorating balls and just kind of sprinkle those over the top, and that will stick to the white. Just make them a little bit seasonal. And like I said, if you're celebrating Hanukkah, you could do this in blue and with some pretty sparkly sugar. St. Patty's Day, do them in green. Now we're going to add some over here to the peanut butter balls. And a little more bling. And it doesn't matter if everyone's the same. Like I said, they're a handmade treat and they should look handmade. And that's what makes them special. I don't know about you, but I would feel really special if somebody brought me a box of chocolates they had made themselves. That doesn't usually happen though, because I'm usually the one making the box of chocolates. And that's okay, because I made a lot of them, so I'll eat mine. These are always fun, these little round ones. They roll everywhere and you're finding them in the nooks and crannies of your floor till about Valentine's Day. Okay, those look good just the way they are. Of course we have to try them. I wait all year for these. I only make them once a year. That's what makes them so special. I'm going to try this little one here. You can see in the middle there. They're so creamy. I'm just going to give it a little squish so you can just see how soft those are. But yet they're sturdy from the chocolate. So good. Tastes just like a regular peanut butter cup you'd buy in the store. These will be a big hit. Thanks for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed yourself. I know I did. If you liked what you saw, you can subscribe on YouTube, like me on Facebook, or send me a tweet. I would love to hear from you. I'd love to hear your recipe suggestions. Until next time, my friend. Live, love, and cook with passion.